So hi, can you tell me where we are?
We are at the San Francisco Police Department, which is across the street from the Alameda County Courthouse, where we all just emerged from with great glee.
Okay, so what happened?
Well, today we came in support of Chris Moreland, who was abducted by OPD on
2 days ago.
Thursday, 2 days ago,
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah, Wednesday evening, after we had all been making a lot of noise at OPD for lying during the supposed town hall meeting where they were there supposedly to inform the family about some more details regarding the shooting death of their son by an OPD officer who we believe is named Miguel Masso, and who we believe quite likely lives 100 miles away from here but is hired by OPD. Chris was with all of us making a lot of noise when Howard, who I call Coward Jordan, departed from that meeting at the church on Wednesday night, having lied some more and not given any true information to the family. And we were outside in an impromptu rally to basically call them out for their lies and for not honoring the family of somebody they killed. And while we were out there, Chris Moreland was using his megaphone and leading chants and basically calling the police out for their misconduct, for their brutality, and their lies. And when we went into the courtroom today, we believed we were going into Department 112, where he was supposedly being charged with several felonies that included battery on an officer, and it also included a couple things I can't remember. And so we were there waiting, and the bailiff came out and told us that he was not going to be seen today, that he was going to be held over on a probation violation that had to do with disturbing the peace, but that there were no felony charges being filed against him. And as we were walking away, he came back out, I presume because Christopher Moreland's attorney had gone in to speak to the district attorney and or the judge in our absence, and he came back out saying he was going to be seen in Department 107, which is the misdemeanor court. And so we all went down there and waited and went through a little bit of more almost silent drama where if people made noise, the district attorney turned around and lost her temper and yelled at us like we were all in third grade to be quiet in the courtroom, even though the judge wasn't even in the room. And then as we waited, we went back out in the hall for a while and heard from the attorney exactly what was happening, which was that he was going to be charged with disturbing the peace, and they had not set bail yet.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So Chris Moreland is a young African American man in his 20s.
Yes.
And he went to protest when the police chief was speaking at a town hall meeting to explain the details of the Alan Bluford murder, which OPD murdered this young boy who was about to graduate high school. They did that a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And he was protesting and yelling with a megaphone, and when he was leaving the event on his way to the BART, OPD took him, and then they kept him in jail ever since then?
Yes, since Wednesday evening. Basically, he was walking with other friends towards the BART parking lot because he was going to get a ride from somebody, and they were 110 feet away from her truck when these a couple or three cruisers swooped up and jumped out, and basically it sounded like Sergeant Beer arrested him, and also that it sounded like Sergeant Beer had to actually yell at the other officers to arrest him, i.e. they maybe weren't clear about what was going on or what they were supposed to be doing. And so yes, he was arrested outside the BART station where he wasn't making any noise at all. So
there were several charges that were told to him that he was being arrested for?
At the time, they were, as usual, refusing to say at all why he was being arrested. But then eventually they said assault on an officer, and then when we looked him up in the system, they, of course, spelled his name wrong. And also, so we finally found him, and they charged him with these 3 felony charges that included battery on an officer. But that's a policy. This is a policy decision by OPD and the city, which is that the arresting officers have to charge people with presumably they have to have evidence, and then they shouldn't even be allowed to approach people unless they have evidence of a crime. And then, if they have evidence of the crime, they should be writing in their police reports what they intend to charge them with based on specific evidence of that crime. The policy in Oakland, at least, I mean, probably forever, but especially lately with Occupy Oakland, is that the officers know and have been informed by their superiors exactly what charges to claim, so that they'll have the chance of actually incarcerating people instead of just citing and releasing people, or even just writing them a ticket without even taking them into custody at all.
Okay, so this charge then that he was left with today after the arraignment
Yes,
was,
is disturbing the peace.
which is not,
It is punishable by, I think, up to $1,000 or so of a fine, and it's punishable for up to 6 months in jail. But in reality, a disturbing the peace charge is very unlikely to end up to land somebody in jail. And certainly, an officer does not have the right to arrest and detain and incarcerate a person on that charge. In other words, the reason that they claimed it an assault is so that they would have an excuse to incarcerate him. In other words, they are taking the liberty to take our liberty. They basically have a legalistic way of incarcerating us, and then after the fact, when we get into court and there's actually no evidence of those crimes, the district attorney is kind of trapped into charging either lesser charges or none, because there wasn't any real evidence. And so what they've managed to do is punish us already, even though there's no evidence of an actual crime.
okay.
And I want to clarify that as a matter of fact,
How you doing?
I'm okay.
Do you have
I don't have it.
So I want to clarify that the district attorney today had already decided that she was not going to charge him with these felonies, but she was still trying to keep him incarcerated through the weekend till Tuesday, just because she feels like it. And of course, his attorney challenged that, and what happened was his attorney spoke very well to the issue, which was that this was a political arrest in the first place, and that the officers were angry, and so they decided to, as you already kind of pointed out, what we were at was a gathering to try to get an explanation for police murder of a young black man. And what they did at the end of that event is